Hi, today I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've been working on, and I'm also going to start developing a brand new enemy for the unnamed game, which I'm calling Roid, and for some reason, like I mentioned in the last video. So I've gone ahead and, since last time, created this enemy, which I'll show you in a second as soon as it starts up. It spins around, and it's actually going to target a certain area, and then it's going to shoot out a laser, which I thought would be interesting. So when it hits you, as you can see at the bottom left corner there, it says poop in big letters because it's actually going to damage you eventually, but right now I haven't actually implemented health, so you just kind of die whenever you get hit. Right now, obviously, just have it logging poop. But I added some random movement so that the enemy gets pushed around every couple of seconds to make it feel kind of interesting, and then it always aims towards you, so it always kind of rotates slowly at you. So what I wanted to do was develop a really basic swarm type enemy. And when I say swarm, I shouldn't say swarm, I'm not doing that one yet. But basically something that moves through the air and spawns little enemies that can chase you around, or even other stuff. So basically like a carrier. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And let me think about how I want to do this. I can't think of exactly what I want it to look like, but potentially some sort of mothership. I don't know, maybe like a floating square. No, it's got to be like a triangle. Okay, so I'm going to generate a cone here. What is a torus? Oh, that could actually be interesting, because the enemies could spawn inside of this circle. Okay, I'm going to do that instead. I need to make it skinny. Rows, that smooths it out. I don't need that yet. Columns, don't need that yet, although it does look nicer if I do this. Okay, maybe I will do that. Outer radius, I want this to be 0.1, that would do that. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 0.2, 1. Inner radius, this is what I actually want. I want this to be 1, and I want outer radius. Huh. Yeah, that looks pretty good. What about size-wise? It looks about identical to the other one, so I'm going to build that. Cool. And now, of course, the lighting is going to regenerate, because fuck Unity's lighting system. I hate it so much. Although I'm probably doing something wrong. Anyway, I'm going to change this to a mover, and I'm going to... Let's see. What do I need? I need a spot for my actual enemies to spawn. I'm going to rename this to, like, carrier. Carrier has arrived. And I'm going to create an empty object and put it right in the middle after I center the pivot on this actual object, because ProBuilder for some reason puts the pivot in a weird spot on the object itself. I'm not really sure why. I don't know what the benefit is of having the pivot always be like on the corner of an object. Anyway, we'll call this the spawn point. And spawn point is right here in the middle, and I've got an enemy actually up here, which is exactly what I want to do. Oh, before I do that, let me change the color of this. I'm going to make it any color 3, because why not? Eventually I'll change up these enemy colors to make them not look like shit. For this enemy, I'm going to add a few lasers that shoot out inwards to show it like charging up when the targeting laser shows up, and then add some cool spark effects and, I don't know, maybe some particle effects to the beam itself. But that'll come way, way, way later after everything else is done. So right now, I'm just going to do this carrier here. Right, made it a dumb looking orange. Going to, do I have a prefab for this enemy? No. Enable this enemy here. Again, it's just like a little ball. So I'm going to create a prefab out of it. And then let's just verify that this fits in the middle. What's the easiest way to do this? Put it in here and 0, 0, 0. Yeah, perfect. That looks like it fits. It won't get stuck on any of the edges or anything like that. So I can go ahead and undo that. So we are going to create a new script called carrier and open it up. Now, I'm not totally familiar with C#. I am a Ruby engineer. I don't know everything about C# or everything about Unity. Why did I do that? I'm actually need those. So we're going to need an enemy to spawn. I'm sorry. Serialize field. Game. I should make this font bigger. There we go. Game object enemy to spawn. Serialize field, of course, puts it in the actual editor inspector here so that I can edit it. And what else do I actually need? Oh, right, I need the point to spawn it at. So I need another one here, spawn point. Yay, okay, so down here I should have an enemy to spawn, and I will stick the prefab here, enemy, and then the spawn point here. Cool. So what I actually want to do is every n seconds, so frequency, we're going to stick this in the editor as well, private float spawn frequency, and we're going to give it a default of like 4 seconds, I'll put 3 seconds to make it interesting. And then we are going to start a coroutine, which is essentially something that runs off to the side. And you can do nifty things like add waits and pauses and stuff like that. We're going to call it spawn enemy. Cool, and we won't need this update script yet, or update portion of the script yet. So we've got that, and then we need an actual spawn enemy function. We're going to, let's see, while true, this is going to infinitely loop, yield return new, wait 4 seconds, spawn frequency, and let's see, every 3 seconds we are going to instantiate enemy to spawn, and we're going to put it at, actually, let's do it this way. Game object enemy.transform.position equals spawn point.transform.position. Cool. So now every 3 seconds we should be able to see an enemy appearing in our inspector. Whoops, that's not the right window. Let's go ahead and play. Oh, we're missing something. Start coroutine has some invalid arguments on line 14. What am I missing here? Start coroutine, spawn enemy. Am I doing something dumb? Start coroutine system collections enumerator. Oh, whoops. Numerator. There we go. So right now we've just got a dumb ring here that's going to spawn this ball every few seconds, and this ball is going to shoot out and go towards me because I've previously programmed this to do it. And you can actually already kill it because I can attack it, and I think like 3 or 4 hits will kill it. So great, but it's still kind of boring because this ring just kind of sits there and doesn't do anything, and the balls just don't come out very well because they don't really have a ton of movement. They're also the same color, which makes it confusing. Let's change up a few things. First of all, let's change the color of this. Let's just make it enemy color 4 for shits and giggles, and let's make the size of it a little bit bigger. Maybe not that big. Let's make it like that big, and let's rotate it to be on its side. Let's do, whoops, that way. Cool. What else? Let's add a rigid body to it so that it actually reacts to stuff hitting it. We're not going to make it use gravity because it can float around, and we're going to make it pretty slow and hard to move. So I'm actually going to give it the same stats as this, 50, 100. So it's really tough to move, 50, 100. Okay. If we hit play now, it'll actually move if we hit it enough, or it won't because, because ProBuilder does not make these meshes convex. All right, let's try that again. Oh, what am I doing? Source mesh is likely have too many smooth surface regions. Huh. I've never seen that before. Okay, that's gonna be a problem. Right. How do I fix this? Okay, we're gonna have to generate a different ring, or something else that's interesting. Let's just do a cylinder. But I like that ring shape. What's the difference between a pipe and a cylinder? Oh, it's not hollow. Okay, let's just stick with the pipe for now. Let's give it a smaller height. Let's give it more sides, like 24. It actually looks like a circle. Height of the segments, 0.5. No, we just want this to be 1, 2, 0.5. You can't do 0.5? No, 1 is as good as it gets. Can do? Yes, I can. Okay, let's do this for now. I can always change it later. Actually, let's update this thickness to be 0.4 or so. Excellent, and let's make this radius bigger. And let's flip it on its side just like the other one. Let's make sure that it's roughly the same size. Perfect. And again, it's pretty ugly. I'm actually going to update the number of sides so that it's a little bit more circular. And let's build it. Let's put the spawn point inside of this pipe. Let's kill this carrier. And let's edit the colors on this to actually match the other one. And then let's, once again, wait for Unity to unfreeze. Change this to a mover. Add a rigid body to it. Add the same settings as before. I think that was it. And add the carrier script, as well as the enemy and the spawn point. And let's hit play. So once again, I forgot to uncheck use gravity. Done. And I also forgot to check the convex Checkbox. Cool. All right. Now we're cooking. Oh, I forgot to center the pivot again. Again, I don't know why Unity or Pro Builder doesn't do this for you automatically. It really should. I still have never experienced a time when I didn't need that center to be, or pivot to be centered. Okay, spawn point is right in the center. And we are spawning stuff. Obviously, it looks bad because it's just appearing in midair. I'll have to create some kind of something, animation or particle effect that shows it warping in. But yeah, if I attack it now with my gun, you can see it start floating upwards as it's getting hit. And it's not going very fast because the mass is set so high and the... oh, and I forgot that I can actually die to these things. I should disable that. Right. The lighting didn't rebuild. Okay, so now to add some movement. Actually not really sure what I want to do here. Do I want to do similar movement to what was here, or do I just want to pick a direction and go? Let's pick a direction and go that way until we hit something. Yeah. All right, I'm not going to make this video super long, but let's go ahead and move in a direction every... I'm trying to think of how to do this. Let's start another coroutine, and we'll call it move. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Move. Oops. Private IE numerator. Move. And then every every 1 second. Oops, why did I do that? Every 1 second we'll have it give it some force. And for that I will need the rigid body, which is basically the physics scripts that's set to the object in Unity. Rigid body. Git component rigid body. And I will want some sort of speed. So I'm going to add another serialized field, private float speed. Every 1 second I will give it a force of, I don't know, speed. And then force mode, well, we'll just do that. Oh, speed, I'm sorry, I needed random direction to move in. Let's see here. On this one, I'm picking up a random direction this way. So let's do the same thing just for now. We're going to need random times speed. And let's make speed something really high here so it actually moves. Make it 500. Let's see what happens. Huh. Oh, you know what? I am generating a new random direction every single time, which I don't want. So we're going to do this. That way it will only generate a direction once. And obviously it might go towards a wall or something like that. But I can figure out a better movement system later. If anyone has actually a better idea of how to move it, or how it picks movement, I'd be greatly appreciated. Hopefully I don't die here. Oh shit. And these balls actually go towards you, so they'll hit a wall and turn around and then come straight at you. One thing that I am going to do pretty shortly is generate a charge attack. So when you hold down the button, you get a little animation of a ball charging up, and then you let go, and you basically shoot a big giant ball that does, you know, 5 times the damage or something like that. I'm probably not going to have it unlockable. Maybe I will. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Okay, this video is running kind of long, but essentially what I'm working on this week is enemies, and lots and lots and lots of enemies, until the point of where my combat is actually interesting. So I want to enter this room here from the side and see a bunch of enemies that I have to kill so that the door actually unlocks. And if the combat isn't fun, I won't be satisfied. And holy shit. Yep. That's it. That's the devlog for the week.